Hi everybody, welcome to the Finance This Property That podcast. My name is Dion Fernandes and I am a mortgage planner and finance professional. My goal is to empower financial legacies for generations, and I look to do this by using my over 13 years experience in finance and having special guest speakers like financial planners, accountants, buyer's agents, family lawyers who are experts in their field to provide knowledge and free education. And without further ado, let's get into our episode today. Hello, welcome to this episode of Finance This Property That, where we're empowering financial legacies for generations. Thank you for listening today. Today's topic, really crucial in this current market, is the common mistakes that first home buyers make in the market today. Let's get into it. All right, so let's look at some of the mistakes that we need to avoid to ensure that you have long-term financial health. By dodging these rookie mistakes in home buying, it's like literally avoiding potholes on the road to financial wellness. We look at it as keeping your finances in check and ensure they're not being derailed and by avoidable setbacks that could happen during life. So, what are some common pitfalls that I see and some of my other teammates see currently with a lot of their clients that are first home buyers? Firstly, is not starting the conversation early enough with key partners. Who do I mean by key partners? Well, firstly, your mortgage broker. What does a mortgage broker do for you? Well, we help you understand your options, capacity to borrow, which is called borrowing capacity, and what your repayments are going to be. Key before you know what property you want to buy. Also, speaking to a solicitor, understanding what the contracts are saying and ensure that you're protected. Insurance. In your Queensland contract, clause 8.1 requires insurance by 5 p.m. the next business day after signing on an existing dwelling. Build and pest inspections. Not having them lined up because usually you'll need a 7-day build and pest inspection. Right? And they need to be lined up because you need to have them on there and the report back. Also failing to account for additional costs, such as maintenance, insurance, closing fees. Also, the one that really grinds my gears is having multiple applications for credit before applying for a home loan, like Afterpay, Zip Pay, etc. I really encourage you all to refer back to my podcast with Kerry Sainsbury from Credit Success, who talks about how this actually impacts your credit file and also future applications for credit. So, how can you avoid making these mistakes? Well, first one's really simple. Come and speak to a finance professional like myself or my team at Emerge Finance. They are amazing at what they do. They will help you, or we will help you and guide you through some of the questions that you have and give you an understanding. Complete your own budget. It's simple. It's your due diligence on health check on yourself. Check your credit file. Guys, it's free. Just refer back to the podcast again with Kerry, where we discuss the importance of all this and how to actually check your credit file. The first time you don't get a second crack usually. I work for you. I don't work for the banks, so I take the best interest for you and what your goals and requirements are. I also have a very strong group of trusted advisors to help. As I mentioned before, solicitors, build and pest inspectors, insurance brokers as well. The benefits of working with a team of experts is invaluable. They give you that independent, unbiased advice. When you've got that, I also work with buyer's agents and real estate agents that can help you look for that property. After all, they are experts in their field, and we all work together to help you. So in conclusion, guys, let's recap a couple of points. And let me recap the importance of making an informed decision. I really, really encourage you, especially if you're a first-time buyer or even if you're a second-time buyer, seek professional advice to avoid any of those common pitfalls. If you're a first-time buyer, I've got the perfect podcast for you. I did one with Luke Ashby, who loves this first-home buyer space. He is another finance specialist at Emerge. I work very closely with him. Refer back to that podcast. We go into more detail around the first home benefits available for the first-home buyers. This was at the time before all the changes happened. Now there are more benefits, so refer back to Luke. Let's have a conversation. Refer back to me. Let's have a conversation. I encourage you all, if you're thinking about purchasing a property, your first, second, third, call me. Let's have a conversation. Let's get you on the front foot on your home buying journey and building your financial legacy as well. Thank you for listening today. As always, the information on this podcast is very general in nature. It doesn't take into your account your personal circumstances. Go and speak to a finance professional or a professional in their field for the right advice so that it relates back to your requirements and objectives. Again, don't have any advertising. Don't pay for advertising on this podcast. If you found this podcast that helped you, pass it on. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything, just like it doesn't cost you anything to follow me on Instagram at Dion Finance Specialist. Follow the podcast on Instagram at Finance This Property That. I'm also on LinkedIn, Dion Fernandes. Very easy to find. And just like, follow, subscribe, pass it on. The podcast is available on YouTube, Spotify, all your major podcast issuers, and also the video will be on YouTube. Thanks again for listening, and see you on the next episode.